Welcome back everyone to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast, and well, what is happening over here? The game has already started. It's been a minute because I had to go do something. Well, we have a 2v2. I bet you didn't notice. It was Moscow outskirts. So we have Bear and Samedi playing as the Germans, already picking Storm Doctrine. What is it with everybody in Storm Doctrine these days? Anyway, Tomat. I'm just gonna call him Tomato. Lightning War. And on the opposing team, we have Glorious Cavassius playing as the Brits. With his Glorious Kvass, he's gonna drench the enemy. And BMW as the Soviets, ironically. Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna try to do. They're just camping the center. And they're putting an MG in the church. I've never seen this before. Anyway, the Germans are also spamming MGs. I'm not quite sure what's happening. They haven't met each other yet. So let's speed this up a little bit just so that we get this rolling. Looks like, yeah, Kvass went for 1 MG and 1 infantry section. Sorry for the little burp. And now they're going to try to capture the right side. Of course, Moscow outskirts, there's some very, very nasty heavy cover at the fuel points that you can use, so you have to be kind of careful, but there's some buildings as well that you have to be careful of, and that's exactly what this machine gun is going to try to use. However, he's using it against some infantry sections, and the infantry sections behind the, hay bales with the heavy cover bonus are going to be deadly at the early stages of the game. In fact, they managed to flank the other machine gun with the support of the church and force away these guys. They then themselves get forced to retreat, but the enemy infantry is going to run right into the Vickers most likely, so that's not going to be all that good for them. Of course, they instant retreat out of the way, and looks like the double team on the right hand side, it kind of succeeded, but eventually the Brits were forced to pull back into their base. So it's not looking that good for the Allies. The Axis have managed to capture the left hand side, of course, because there's no opposition. And, Ura from these conscripts. Well, actually, no, it wasn't an Ura from the conscripts. It was just like the guy saying Ura. And, yeah, it's not going to work out for them because there's a MG42 behind there with a mortar. So, yeah, these guys are not having an easy time. Looks like a fuel cache is being built by BMW. Fitting, because he's the BMW, so he needs a lot of fuel. And probably that's going to mean, well, I'm not sure what that's going to mean. He's only got 3 conscripts, and looks like the Axis are going to be able to easily just kind of cap the right-hand side as well as the left-hand side, while leaving the Allies the center. I'm not sure, what the plan here is. Of course, here comes the 3-inch mortar emplacement. This time there was an Ura being popped by these conscripts. And yeah, okay. So the Allies are going to try to retake the right-hand side, but what are they trying to do exactly? There's not a lot of action going on. There's a couple of infantry sections, of course, being in place. And the problem is they're going to right straight into the machine gun again. This time, however, they might have the mortar pit in range of the house. So this might be the thing that changes up the whole dynamic. Looks like the conscripts are late in coming in to support the infantry. And the infantry sections are now hopelessly outnumbered. There's not only the machine gun, but 3 grenadier squads in this area. So they're going to be forced away. Whereas the Germans on the left-hand side are finding absolutely no opposition. And they're able to capture quite a lot of points. So the Allies really need to rethink their whole strategy, because they're not really able to defend the left-hand side in any kind of way, and the right-hand side is under the control of the Germans, and in the center there's nothing worth defending. So, At least with the center they have 1 VP. Baron Samedi, funnily enough, because he hasn't been facing any kind of opposition, he hasn't built any units because he doesn't really feel like he needs anything. Which is, of course, quite a bit of a shame, because he's floating a lot of resources. He's now going for the Light Mechanized Company. Looks like Kampfgruppe Headquarters is also upgrading the Tier 1, or rather Tier 2 for Tomato. And Tomato should probably get the Tier 2 soon enough.
We can now build light mechanized infantry.
And yeah, most likely, he's got 80 fuel, Baron Samedi, so I'm guessing that there's going to be a flame half-track coming through, and considering that he's Storm Doctrine, so he's got those Regal mines from 2 CPs onward, he's even got an extra incentive to go with a half-track. And I'm not sure why he's not going for it, because right now it would definitely be a good counter to what the Allies are bringing on the field. Especially would be good to clear out this church. It's wooden, so the flame half-track is going to be perfect for it. The machine gun doesn't really have any chances, and there's the half-track coming through for him. Tomato, on the other hand, I wonder what he's going to try to do. He's going already for Battle Phase 2, so he's going to skip the Battle Phase 1 building, the Leicht Mechanized Company, and he's going to try to go with the Tier 3 to get out some vehicles. And, well, it's going pretty well in the infantry engagements for him, but the Allies are slowly but surely building up their fuel caches. Looks like this Grenadier, or not Grenadier, infantry section is going to go down. Everybody here is standing in heavy cover, so that's not looking very good for any side, really, and they're all taking heavy casualties. Rifle grenade goes down. Yeah, it's not looking all that good, especially for Kvas. He's going to be forced to retreat. And right now, the fuel cache is going to be coming into direct attack by these Grenadiers, but it's going to take them a long time to destroy it, just like they weren't able to destroy this one. So the caches are working in the favor of the Allies, but at this point, they're losing a lot of mainline infantry, so they're going to really need to spend a lot of manpower actually replenishing their stocks of sheer manpower. Oh, come on. Why did you not destroy this Grenadier? Okay, good, good. Good judgment coming in from that conscript. Manages to kill the Grenadier before it retreats. And the conscript looks like it's gonna die to the MP40s though. So, yeah, a bit of an equal exchange. One Grenadier squad for one conscript. The half-track finally upgrades that flamer. And right now, however, BMW, thanks to his fuel caches, he's been able to very quickly rush up to the Tank Heavy Battalion Command. So he's going to be able to build either, well, he could go for the quad right away, and that would counter the flame half-track, but he could also go ahead and wait for the T-70, which would be 20 more fuel, so about 1 more minute. I feel like that would be very much worth it. And right now, he's also trying to harass the left-hand side, so he's not that passive. That's pretty good. I like it. He's going to probably be able to deal with this machine gun with the flanking conscripts. I'm not sure he's going to be able to deal with the, you know, follow-up, which would be the mortar, not the mortar half-track, the flame half-track, which destroys the mortar pit. Mortar pit, unfortunately, didn't end up being a very useful investment. We have the infantry blob from Kvas. He's going to be able to, this time, I think, win the engagement with the Grenadiers because of his, you know, Royal Engineers soaking up the fire from the Grenadiers. Looks like one of the Royal Engineers might even go down. Yep, it does. So a bit of a mismicro over here. But overall, it seems like the, you know, Riflemen front Brits are going to be able to just take control of the right-hand side. There's a nasty minefield over here, so they have to be kind of careful. Left-hand side finally being capped by these conscripts, so finally a little bit of a reprieve. However, the center is being recapped by, rather capped by the Germans. Baron Samedi is floating so many resources. I wonder, I mean, he might be saving up the manpower because he wants to go with, you know, the Heliophagia later. Now finally he's spending some of that in 2 Grenadier squads. I feel like the best way to spend it on, though, would have been 1 machine gun in 1 pack, because he has to know that with these fuel caches being around, the Allies are going to have a little bit more fuel than meets the eye, even though they didn't have control of any fuel point throughout this game. So he has to know that some kind of vehicles are going to be coming through, so the pack is pretty much a necessity. And the MG is going to be very useful at defending his left-hand side and middle possessions from enemy infantry. So I feel like that would have been the best choice instead of 2 more Grenadier squads that he doesn't exactly need. Now he has 4 Grenadier squads once this one is completed. Not exactly sure what he's going to do with all those Grenadiers. Right now, finally, it looks like the right side is being recapped from the Germans, and I'm not quite sure what Tomato is trying to do. He's gone with the heavy Panzer Corps, so very, very much rushing for that tier 4, and he's gotten it pretty quickly, so he does have enough resources for a Panzerwerfer. He's not going for that. I'm guessing that the best option would be the Brumbear. And here comes the T-70, of course, as I thought. From BMW, he's able to just kind of force away the flame half-track. The flame projectors can do absolutely nothing against the light armor of the T-70. The T-70 is actually going to chase it all the way into the base, which might be very dangerous, because what if there were Grenadiers over here with Panzerfausts? The T-70 would be dead. But there's no Grenadiers in the area, so the T-70 is just kind of chasing through. It's not using prioritized vehicles, though, so it's shooting at the infantry and the buildings as well. And it looks like the infantry from the Soviets is just being completely massacred on the left-hand side by the Grenadiers. And the half-track does have superior speed to the T-70, but looks like a bit of a microlapse is going to leave it standing in one place for a little bit too long. And here comes the T-70, destroying it in a blaze of glory. So that's a pretty good blow to the Germans, but the problem is Baron Samedi is replacing that with a Panzer IV, so that's definitely a little bit of an escalation. And Tomato will have enough resources for the Brumbear soon enough. It's 150, and in fact, he does have right now enough resources for a Brumbear. He's not going for the Brumbear, so maybe he's going for the Panther? I don't know. No. I feel like the Brumbear would be the better option. Ooh, another rifleman squad for the Soviets goes down. So that's not looking too good for them. Looks like in terms of mainline infantry, the Axis definitely have the advantage. We have 7 Grenadier squads versus 3 infantry sections and 1 conscript. Of course, what's very, very good for the Allies is this T-70, which is going to be a very, very, very good tool to deal with enemy infantry units and enemy, of course, defensive emplacements. But the Panzer IV is on the field, so the Panzer IV should be able to destroy the T-70, or at least force it to be very, very thoughtful about its life's choices. Looks like the 6-pounder anti-tank gun and the T-70 are going to work together to destroy this bunker, which actually was never upgraded with a machine gun. And with this, you know, minesweeper, they can sweep all those mines clear. The AT gun, of course, is going to be very, very useful because there's a Panzer IV barreling down on them from the road. However, it's kind of turned in the wrong direction, and oh, finally it does manage to pick itself up and turn itself in the right direction. Do they know where the Panzer IV is? No, it looks like they're out of line of sight. Yep. However, there is a massive swarm of Grenadiers, and yeah, I think the Grenadiers should be able to destroy the anti-tank gun crew. Yep, nice rifle grenade. Gonna finish it off, and right now there's nothing protecting the T-70 nor the infantry from the wrath of the Panzer IV. In fact, I'm guessing that this rifleman squad for the Brits will go down. If the Panzer IV chases, it should be this way. Kedok was actually, not Kedok, Kvas was building something. No, he's not building anything. It's Tomato. Tomato's going for a Panther. How are the Allies going to deal with these vehicles? Well, Kvas has a 984 manpower, so I'm guessing he's going to start to spam out some anti-tank guns. He's also upgraded the company command post, so he's probably waiting for the Firefly, and he's going to get the Firefly soon enough. 2 T-70s for some reason on the field, and they're running rings around the P4, which is missing them and doing negligible damage to it. However, they swing around, and they manage to absolutely devastate these Grenadiers, so at least forcing them away and allowing the infantry to do just its thing. Interestingly enough, the infantry section, I think, was trying to throw a artillery, you know, beacon over the house into the Panzer IV, but it missed and actually threw an artillery beacon into the house, destroying it, forcing away his allied infantry squad. And right now the Panther, so Panther and Panzer IV versus 2 C-70s, it's definitely not the best possible situation to be in if you're the Allies. The Germans have a triple cap set up with this left-hand side Grenadier capturing the VP. And these conscripts are not doing anything, so it's not looking good for the Allies. The center is being held by this, you know, Church machine gun. The right side is being held by this machine gun. And the left-hand side also has a machine gun holding it, so it's not looking that good for the Allies. How are they going to be able to recapture some of these areas? Well, the Firefly to deal with the vehicles, for one, is going to be a very, very good thing. In fact, considering that the Germans are very overconfident about their advantage, this could be very, very bad. The T-70s are right now being acting as a bait, and oh, look, there's actually a Firefly in the base. So this could be very, very bad for these tanks. Looks like the Panther is going to take some pretty nasty damage from the rear by the Sherman Firefly, and even the T-70s can try at least to do something into the rear armor, but it's not working. And probably, well, at least the P4 is going to go down. At least the P4 is going to go down to this, wait, the Firefly didn't chase, rip. But the P4 does not run away, so it dies to the anti-tank gun. Okay, so at least the Allies get a limited victory. The problem still stands that they are, you know, they're completely pushed into the base. They have no map control. They have the triple cap working against them, and the triple cap is going to destroy their chances of winning very, very quickly. They are at 260 points. If they go down to 240, then that's going to mean, like, what, 4 minutes? Yeah, 4 minutes, so 4 minutes and a half until they lose. So they have 4 minutes and a half to at least take 1 VP, or at least neutralize 1 VP. It's not looking that good for them. In fact, this rifle grenade is very, very nasty. But at least now they have the 2 T-70s plus the Sherman Firefly. That's going to constitute a good mix of anti-infantry and anti-vehicle that they can use. Also, of course, for some reason the Sherman Firefly misses and hits the truck that was providing cover to his allies. Looks like here comes a artillery beacon into the church, so that's going to try at least to demolish the church to allow the, you know, infantry to move up unopposed from this machine gun. And here comes the shells, actually doing a massive amount of damage on this building, and probably going to be able to destroy it relatively simply. There we go, destroying the machine gun in the process. So good usage of the artillery beacon from Kavas. He's also gone for Vanguard operations, and oh, this is very, very dangerous for these Grenadiers. They're very much huddled up into one little tiny corner with a T-70 in the area, so there's going to be a lot of losses for them. The problem is Panzerfausts are doing a lot of damage to the T-70, and they destroy the main gun. So, yeah. Looks like this entire flank is going to fall for the Allies once again, and the center is probably going to get recaptured by one of these Grenadier squads. And they're just trying to push in and get those Panzerfausts into position against the Sherman Firefly. It's not going to be working because of the infantry support, but oh well. And another Panzerfaust destroys the T-70, so well done by Tomato. He was able to destroy the T-70 with just Grenadiers. And, well, what's happening? The right side is still controlled by the Germans. For some reason, nobody decided to try and cap the center. In fact, this, Pioneer Squad could have definitely done that. Tomato went for a Panzerwerfer. That's an interesting choice because the Allies, it's not like they were really relying too much on infantry. The most important unit on the field right now for the Allies is definitely the Firefly. Because if the Germans, underestimate this thing, they're not going to have an easy time. And, oh boy, the Panther's going to flank around the Firefly. This could be a pretty bad place to be. Okay, so the Firefly pulls back, and there's the Tulip Rockets. So Tulip Rocket's going to destroy the vision, of the Panther and also stunning it. So that's going to allow the, the Sherman Firefly to get two more shots. The problem is the Panther is still, it's got a much better damage per second than Firefly. It's going to be able to destroy it because the Firefly did not escape the area, nearly quick enough. So a bit of a mismicro over there. However, the left-hand side, thanks to the support of a L2 Sturmgewehr attack from BMW, is going to be able to, be recaptured. They managed to capture the left-hand side VP, and they've got a mortar in place, so they probably might be able to recapture the fuel point as well. That would be the first time in the entire game that the Allies had a fuel point in their control, so that could be a pretty big little swing in fortunes. Center, once again, is recaptured by infantry sections, and they're going to gun down that machine gun crew, most likely, thanks to their Fields. Looks like we have, 5 infantry squads for Kavas, so very, very heavily relying on that infantry, and now he's going for the anti-tank gun and another Vickers. So this could be pretty bad considering that the enemy has a P-Werfer on the area. And yeah, blobs plus support weapons, not very good. Here comes a bombing run. I guess no, that's just the L2 Sturmgewehr attack guys just making a cinematic escape. So at least the left-hand side is fully under control of the Allies, and looks like instead of waiting for the S2, we had an Su-76 purchased from BMW. Not quite sure about that. Looks like Baron Samedi is going for a Panther of his own, so we're gonna have the Panther spam coming through for the Germans. I think that the Panther spam wouldn't be the best possible choice right now for the Germans because, like, they just have so much infantry to contend with. They need at least one Brumbear to deal with all of that. Sorry. They need at least one Brumbear to deal with all the infantry that the Allies are pulling in. And looks like... oh boy. Looks like this guy is going to be able to destroy the building just with the good old-fashioned direct fire into the building. He's not using the light artillery barrage for some reason. And for some reason, this isolated Su-76 is not getting picked on by anything else. Here comes the nasty Panzerwerfer. Although there's a decent spread on these units, so I'm guessing that it's not going to be all that dangerous. It does wipe out one of the infantry sections. It was actually the only one with the artillery beacons. But hey, looks like the Panther on the left-hand side, that's Baron Samedi's Panther, is trying to deal with this T-70. But of course, that's the weakness of the Panther. It's not really that well suited to deal with enemy light, soft targets like these anti-tank guns. And the infantry manages to get a nice anti-tank grenade, and right now the anti-tank gun is, well, it's got a perfect line of sight into the ass of the Panther. Call the police, please. This is not right. This, please censor this. This is gonna get my video demonetized. However, a nice smoke barrage from the Storm Doctrine is gonna prevent the AT gun from auto-firing, and there's no attack round coming through. Instead, the AT gun decides to push through the smoke. There was also some kind of like fragmentation bomb. Oh no, that's the L2 Sturmovik attacks destroying an anti-tank gun. But that managed to save the Panther just barely. Looks like on the right side, the Su-76 was able to finally destroy the building and the MG that was in it, but it's still standing there with no infantry support. That's not only not capping the fuel point, it's leaving it exposed, and so these Grenadiers are very, very dangerous. Looks like, however, the Su-76 realizes its predicament and now escapes, but it escapes right into the jaws of a Panther that's got its flank. So there goes the Su-76. It's dead. Not even gonna look at it because it's just such a foregone conclusion. And in the left-hand side, it looks like the Allies are pushing in. They're very, very aggressive. They're finally trying to go with, you know, some aggressive maneuvers. Wait. How did the Panther manage to let the Su-76 escape? It's not on prioritized vehicles. So it was most likely just firing on a whole lot of other targets instead. And here comes a massive Panzerwerfer, destroys another infantry section. So right now, Kvas from 5 infantry sections is down to 2. That's definitely not the best position to be in if you're the Brits. Very, very bad. And yeah, that Panzerwerfer ended up definitely paying for itself. 14 kills and 3 wipes. So, not bad. I mean, 3 wipes on infantry. Might have even wiped out 1 or 2 support weapons in the meantime. And it looks like the right side, there was an AT gun here. But, oh wait. This is the anti-tank gun that's been here from like minute 10. How has nobody retaken this or destroyed it? It's weird. Left-hand side, we have an attempt at the artillery barrage, light artillery barrage from this anti-tank gun. Okay, destroyed the Pack 40, and looks like the Grenadiers are charging in, trying to take out the anti-tank gun, but this guy's got one model remaining. Molotov comes through and is gonna force away the rest. Looks like in the center we have another Firefly being built by Kvas, and that's pretty good. Oh, nasty rifle grenade, deals a lot of damage to the infantry in the house. Another rifle grenade comes through and almost wipes out the machine gun crew, but the machine gun crew manages to escape. And there's a second machine gun that's gonna just kind of keep these riflemen at bay. However, the problem is this rocket, launcher is gonna be reloaded in 5 seconds, and I'm not sure what this anti-tank gun is firing at, but the Germans don't know where it is. They could, however, possibly just kind of guess where it is just from the firing that's coming in from the fog of war. And, well, the Grenadiers were like, oh, there was a machine. Wow, they got incredibly lucky. They insta-snipe the first machine gun crewman. They insta-snipe the second machine gun crewman. They rifle grenade the third machine gun crewman. And they insta-snipe the fourth machine gun crewman. So, interesting. Okay, so right now, 3 Panthers versus a T-70, 2 Su-76s, and the Sherman Firefly. It could be doable for the Allies to win this engagement. The problem is there's just way too many German infantry units in the area, and that's not going to be looking all that. How is this guy that damaged? He was standing in the line of fire of the anti-tank gun. So there goes one of the Panthers. There goes one of the T-70s. The Sherman Firefly was not able to kite far enough away. It's taken a lot of damage. But the Panthers are not able to finish it off, and the Firefly gets a lot of shots in. However, yeah, it seems like the Nazi tanks are just going to charge into the base and chase after the Sherman Firefly and probably destroy it. Where are the Su-76s? They're over here trying to get, behind and flank the Panthers. It's weird that I'm saying these words. But wait, they stop. What are they doing? Come! Destroy these Panthers! Don't let them just, escape from the base from such a ridiculously overzealous attack. Like, this was absolutely overextending these Panthers, and I'm guessing that these Panthers are gonna die to the combined anti-tank fire of the Zis-3 and the, wait. They're gonna be able to escape, are they? Wow. That is just sad as hell. These vehicles should have been able to close the gap and, close the pocket on these Panthers and destroy them. Here comes the Panzerwerfer to destroy the anti-tank guns. Looks like one of them gets smashed by a rifle grenade. One of the Panthers at least dies. However, a nasty Panzerfaust destroys the engine of one Su-76, and so probably that's going to be the end of the Su-76. armor-piercing rounds coming through from the MG42, plus a lot of Panzerfaust. Yep, here comes the death note for that. Yeah, Su-76 is dead. And the Allies still barely hanging on by a thread. They've got 120 VPs. The Germans still haven't been able to recapture this left-hand side, even though it's relatively lightly defended. And for some reason, the Germans still going with the, you know, Panther spam, even though Tomato actually has the Tiger. He's got Lightning War. So I feel like if they had gone for, you know, either the Tiger or one Broom Bear, they would have been in a very, very good position to just kind of dwarf the infantry spam that the Allies are kind of relying on. Because if all these anti-tank guns were dead, then there would be absolutely nothing stopping the Panthers from just running over everything that the Allies have. But it's not really working out this way, even though the Panzerwerfer is doing a pretty good job at like suppressing the Allied, you know, infantry and support weapons. It's just not enough. And that's weird. Here comes also the nasty artillery barrages from not only the Z3, but the remaining Su-76. And at this point, I feel like, Kvas might be going for the Vanguard Operation Crocodile. Why did he smoke bomb there? I have no idea. And actually, Kvas has a lot of munitions, so he could be calling in a lot of strafing support. He does not have enough manpower for the logistics glider, which would be, of course, very, very good, but yeah, he's not going to have enough manpower anytime soon to get out those, you know, commandos. With the glider leader guy, I don't remember what his name is. Air landing officer? Yes, air landing officer.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
And yeah, he does have the Crocodile available to him. It's an interesting idea to think about because his opponents are mostly going for Panthers, but I feel like with what they're doing, it's not like they're going to be able to counter the Crocodile, because if they're able to support the Crocodile with anti-tank, you know, units like this Su-76 and the anti-tank guns, then that's not going to be looking all that good. And it looks like one machine gun goes down and one Grenadier squad goes down from a nice conscript flank. So vanilla conscripts getting their work cut out for them. And there's 3 machine guns over here. And there's 3 conscript squads. Steal the machine guns. In fact, no, there were 4 machine guns. So one of the conscripts steals one. Another conscript steals another. That's actually a MG42 light machine gun. So unfortunately, that's going to be recaptured by these Grenadiers. And oh no, that was actually 4 machine guns. Yeah, there was 4 machine guns plus the LMG. So that was a nasty amount of firepower that was left on the field, just lying there by the Axis as they retreated. So, oh damn, here comes a nice rifle grenade into the building. Ooh, this could be dangerous. The Su-76 is artillerying the Grenadiers, and they have to retreat. Yeah, okay, so, not the worst possible outcome for the Axis, but not the best possible outcome either. Yeah, they could have lost their Panthers as well, but they still have their Panthers, they still have their Panzerwerfer, so they still have a bit of a base to work on to kind of regain their former glory. And right now, the way they're going to be able to do that is by getting something that can deal with infantry, because otherwise these machine guns are going to literally prevent any German unit, because they're right now the Allies have like more machine guns than the Germans have infantry squads, so they're going to be able to very, very easily prevent the Germans from capturing any points. And yeah, Panther plus another Panther, they're not really going to have anything to deal with. Like, okay, they can destroy the Su-76, but like, it's not a valuable target, and it's definitely not worth spending all the resources that you spent on the Panthers. So why the fuck the Germans didn't go for, you know, any, like, hey, anti-infantry units is definitely beyond me. And right now, those Grenadiers are lucky to survive. Yeah, right now that Panther is not in a good spot. It's getting pretty much smashed by the anti-tank gun from the front. However, with the machine gun, it should be able to destroy the anti-tank gun crew right as it reaches Vet 3, by the way. So this guy is definitely going to be a veteran retreating man. The Su-76 tries to come in to finish off the Panther, but it gets into a bad neighborhood fight with 2 Panthers, so it dies. No anti-tank grenade being thrown. Finally, anti-tank grenade is ordered, but it's not enough to destroy the Panther. And the Panther guns down along with the Grenadiers, the last remaining conscript, because he was in negative cover. On the right side, finally, Kvas is able to get some engineers in there and cap the point. In the meantime, however, well, what could be happening? Oh no. Oh no. Pack 40 chases the Panther, which for some reason is still in the area and destroys it. Well done by the pack. And right now the Panzerwerfer is also approaching the left-hand side for, you know, yeah, not a lot of purpose because there's only one machine gun standing over here that's pinning down the Grenadiers, but the rest of the Grenadiers should be able to deal with this machine gun quite handily. Looks like the pack is, I don't know what it's trying to do. It's probably trying to shoot at this Panther. Here comes the Panzerwerfer barrage. It's gonna finish off the last remaining HP of that machine gun. And Kvass on the right side harassing the VP. Well done. Finally, the allies are gonna be able to get a triple cap actually. So finally getting a little bit of control over the right-hand side of the map for the allies. That was definitely a long time coming. I like that a lot, and it's definitely gonna, well, make the Germans think about their life choices a little bit, because now they get the Tiger finally. So finally they have some anti-infantry. Wow, holy hell. They're still flooding a heck of a lot of resources, and they're not buying like any machine guns to protect their points. They're not buying any Pioneers to repair their vehicles. They're not buying heck anything. And it's weird. There goes the other Pioneer squad from the MG spam. And at this point, I'm guessing that the left-hand side is going to be recaptured, or rather, the left-hand side field point is going to be recaptured by the MG spam. The right side sees the Tiger. What is Kvass doing with his resources? He's going for another Firefly, and at this point, he's going to have enough fuel for 2 Fireflies, so that's definitely going to be a nice change of pace to have 2 Fireflies instead of 1, because he's also going to have a lot of Tulip Rocket firepower coming through. He's got a 790 munitions reserve, so he's definitely going to be able to pull a lot of Tulip Rockets out of his, you know, behind. And that's not going to work into the favor of the Germans at all. It's definitely going to be bad for them. And, well, BMW, he's going for an Su-85 instead of a IS-2 or a T-34-85. He's armored assault, of course. For some reason, though, he's decided to go with the Su-85. I would have gone with the IS-2, to be completely honest, because I need the extra heavy tank-like capabilities, right? You know, you need some kind of thing that's hard and doesn't take a lot of damage. You need something to soak up the damage. And right now, really none of his units can do that, except through sheer manpower. He's got a lot of, you know, little tiny, like, 6-man units that are running around. So it's hard to defeat his forces because of that, because it just takes forever to kill them. But it's not really because it's not really because they're not gonna take losses. They are gonna take losses. So I would definitely like to see an S2 on his side. It would help out in dealing with whatever is infantry when it comes to infantry on the German side. It would help out with the Panthers. It would be pretty good against the Tiger. And yeah, it would, again, provide some more capabilities right now the Allies don't have, aka a heavy tank. And Kvass is going for another Firefly, as you know, predicted he would do. So it's not like the Allies are lacking when it comes to anti-tank and tank destroyers. I mean, they've got a lot of anti-tank guns as well. They've got 2 just for the Brits and 2 for the Soviets as well, one of them being a Pack 40. So right now, it's not like they're lacking in anti-tank. It's not like they are in some way vulnerable to the Tiger and the Panther. So right now, I feel like definitely the S2 would have been the better choice. Also, when it gets to this kind of a late game, it's kind of natural to just kind of think about, well, my big, giant, heavy tank. Let's just save up for it. What is this Panther doing? I have no idea. Ostwind was purchased also by Baron Samedi. Definitely a mistake. I mean, it's not like it's going to be able to do anything. As much as I was saying that an anti-infantry vehicle was needed, I was really thinking of the Brim Bear, because the Brim Bear is the only thing that would have enough resilience to actually survive all of, you know, what the Allies have brought to bear on the field. So that would be pretty okay. The Panther went down without the Tiger coming in and supporting, whereas as you can see, the Allies are supporting each other quite nicely. We've got British machine guns defending the Soviet anti-tank gun line, I guess you could call it. And yeah, this increased cooperation from the Allies is definitely welcome, a welcome sight, and it's working out in their favor. Unfortunately, on the left-hand side, there's no anti-tank, so the Austrian's going to have a little bit of a free reign. However, that's going to basically make these two guys, yeah, the Su-85 and the Sherman Firefly, come in to the right side like that. Looks like a Panzerwerfer and a Stuka are going to fall down, and miraculously, the Pak-40 Gun Crew survives all of that. So the Tiger now attacks because he's like, haha. But there's actually two anti-tank gun crews still barely alive, ready to respond. Also, the Ostwind on the left-hand side is probably going to die from the Su-85 and the Firefly. Although, it actually notices what is happening and escapes, leaving the Grenadiers to Panzerfaust these vehicles to prevent the chase. However, the Grenadiers just can't Panzerfaust everything, and they're also going to take casualties from the fire over here from the machine gun. And yeah, so a couple of Fireflies and the Su-85 are going to be okay there. Looks like the Tiger is pushing in against the anti-tank guns over here, and the anti-tank guns are failing miserably to penetrate it, but I'm guessing that the spam from the Allies is going to be able to move back in and destroy the Tiger. Also, third anti-tank gun, so the Tiger is, you know, 1v3ing the ATs, and it's not having the best of lucks, especially considering that now a conscript squad comes in and recruits the other anti-tank gun. So the Tiger is going to have to run away with its tail between its legs. And there's two Fireflies over here, which, funnily enough, haven't been upgraded with the Tulip rockets yet, even though there's 950 munitions in the reserves for Kvass. They're going to get chased, or rather, the Tiger's going to get chased by this anti-tank gun squad for the Allies, and I'm guessing that it's going to die. The Allies still have a decent lead when it comes to VPs. They have 2 VPs when, you know, the Axis only have 1. However, of course, the Axis have more VP reserves. Looks like, however, the Fireflies are going to try to flank around the Tiger. They managed to get the main gun destroyed, and that's going to be the end of the Tiger. Rip in pepperonis. Yeah, looks like also they're going to try to destroy the MG42 with their machine guns, which is going to take a while, but they're going to be able to with their, you know, coaxial machine guns. But it's obviously not the best idea to just kind of hang around there with no infantry support, so they're going to be escaping away rather quickly. Yeah, Grenadiers coming in and trying to get some Panzerfaust. For what purpose, I don't know, because the Germans are out of tanks. It looks like on the left side, we have 4 packs by Baron Samedi. I have no idea. The problem still stands that he does not have anything to deal with the actual machine guns. So he's got 3 Grenadier squads that are going to be absolutely defenseless against all of this, and, well, yeah. So there's 2 Panzerwerfers for Tomato that could be, you know, used in that role, and in fact they are, but it's just not enough. As you can see, the line of support weapons for the Allies seems to be near them unbreakable. From one area of the map to the other, they've got pretty much contiguous line except for one tiny gap over here. And eventually, their armor superiority is going to start to show as well. I mean, one day BMW is going to get an S2 and, you know, be able to deal with the enemy infantry. So this could be pretty bad or very bad for the Axis. Either way, it's definitely not going to be good for them. And right now, as you can see on the right-hand side, and anything the Germans are trying, it's just not working because there's too much infantry superiority for the Allies. There's too many support weapons that can hold the line. There's too many, you know, anti-tank units that even if the Germans were to get vehicles out like Baron Samedi is trying to do, they would be able to defend against all of that. And as long as the Allies can kind of keep control over these 2 VPs on the left and center and harass the right-hand side as they've been doing with, you know, Kvass's infantry, then they're going to be in a good spot. You know, I'm guessing that there's really not much that the Germans can do except maybe try to get some good flanks off, but it's not really going to be easy, considering that right now, as I said, the sort of Allied support weapon army is pretty much spread out throughout the entire map, and so it's not going to be easy to get a flanking maneuver off on that. Speaking of support weapons, this MG is pretty heroic and standing there, but yeah, now it's gotten flanked, so it's probably gonna have to escape. Yeah, now these conscripts are not suppressed, and now they're gonna flank. I've seen this happen before. Everybody has. And the right side VP is captured, so another triple cap on the, this time, Allied side. And 240 VPs, remember what I said, every 3 seconds, 3 VPs lost, so every 1 second, 1 VP lost, so 240 seconds to deal with the VP reserves. That means 4 minutes. So the Germans definitely getting urged on to do something. And right now, there's a T-34-85 on the field for BMW. Soon enough, an S2 probably. So that's not looking very good for the Germans. They could use the T-34-85 to just kind of get behind the Panther and get, you know, working on its rear armor. Of course, with the Su-85 support and the Fireflies, the T-34-85 should be able to pretty easily deal with the Panzer. And incredibly enough, these Panzerwerfers are still alive, despite the fact that the Allies have such a superiority when it comes to vehicles. That's probably because all of these are like tank destroyers except the T-34-85, so it's not like they really are the first choice to think about when hunting down enemy artillery. The Allies probably want to conserve their vehicles as much as possible. And it looks like the machine gun on the right side was stolen by some very enterprising infantry section dudes. Looks like the Panzerwerfer is going to come down on the machine gun crew, and I wonder if it's going to be able to destroy it. Yes. So that's going to allow these guys... Oh no, there's a crocodile. So the crocodile at this point is like, hello chaps. And well, there's no counters to it, at least from Tomato. Baron Samedi does have the Panther and the Pax, but yeah, this is not going to be good. I'm guessing that the next time I'm going to look there, the crocodile is going to have a lot more infantry kills. On the left side, Panther trying to do something, but getting repulsed by the Allied anti-tank squad of Doom. The S2 was, for 1 second, available to BMW, but he decided to build a conscript squad instead. And yeah, the Illustromix kind of dealing with the anti-tank guns, etc., etc. Looks like the T-34-85 tries to come in and flank the Panther, which for some reason wasn't pulled back to the base. Once again, the Germans not really pulling away their vehicles in time. And yeah, there comes the abandonment. And let's see, 12 infantry kills. Pretty decent. No sweat broken by the Churchill Crocodile crew, even as they were spewing hot flame on the Germans. Looks like, yeah, with the support of the Firefly and the infantry section, this Crocodile is going to be basically unstoppable and is probably going to be able to just kind of charge into the base and take care of the artillery that way. In the meantime, on the left-hand side, yeah, the Germans are forced to destroy their own Panther as the T-34-85, along with a stolen machine gun, are dealing with the anti-tank guns, and yeah, it's just over. So what the Germans could have done differently? Well, definitely better usage of their fuel and better usage of their vehicles once they were on the field was their primary problem. They did manage to get some very good wins in the early game, but they weren't able to capitalize on them, and they died. Tomato didn't use his relief infantry. He, in fact, didn't use his doctrine mostly at all. He never tried to use anti-tank strafes to deal with lines of tank destroyers, to deal with the Fireflies and the SUs. He really never had that much of a combined strategy with his teammate. They were all, you know, kind of going their own way, except for like a couple of combined tank pushes that even, you know, even those were pretty like uncoordinated. Whereas the Allies worked pretty well together. They were able to build up a nice defensive AT gun wall, and a lot of this was actually due to the Axis just sort of handing them over superior weapon systems, such as the MG42 and the Pax, in pretty heavy numbers. So if the Germans had been a little bit more careful about how they used their support weapons and how they kept those alive, or at the very least, once they lost them, they would have been more careful about recapturing them or destroying them, I feel like a lot of the problems that they had in the late game wouldn't have materialized at all, and they would have been able to win. So I feel like that's the reason why they lost. But as always, you're welcome to have a differing opinion. Please say that in the comment section below if you have something to say. And yeah, as always, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. I will see you soon. Have a nice one.